When it comes to the beauties of One Piece, most fans immediately think of the Pirate Empress, Boa Hancock. Although she entered the story relatively late, it hasn't diminished her importance to the plot one bit. Many girls have even found reflections of themselves in Hancock. And no, I'm not talking about her figure or looks. I mean being a total fangirl for Luffy. So today, let's talk about this visual queen of One Piece who captures everyone's gaze the moment she appears, the haughty and peerless captain of the Kuja, Boa Hancock. With her raven black Hime-cut and eyes that speak volumes, combined with a stunning figure that could sustain an entire village plus an ice cream parlor, she has become the ultimate goddess for countless fans. To put it bluntly, this is a world where beauty rivals nuclear weapons. Beauty is a capital for her willfulness, and it's also the Empress's way of survival. Her signature pose of looking down so much she's looking at the sky. No one without a perfectly flexible waist could ever pull that off. But if we trace back to her origins and look from the start, we'll find that the real Hancock is far from the person she portrays herself to be. In the world of One Piece, if your childhood doesn't have a few layers of trauma, you're practically a background character. Hancock is no exception. Back when Hancock was 12 years old, she and her two sisters joined the Kuja Pirates together.
But before they could truly live as pirates, they were kidnapped by traffickers and sold as slaves to the world nobles, the Celestial Dragons. The Celestial Dragons have always viewed common people as expendable grass. For the next 4 years, Hancock and her sisters suffered endless torment. They were branded with the slave mark that can never be erased, driven at the whim of the Celestial Dragons, like toys without any dignity. During one of their entertainment shows, Hancock and her sisters were forced to eat devil fruits for the nobles' amusement, which is how she gained the power of the Mero no Mi. It wasn't until Fisher Tiger appeared and raided Mary Joy's that the three Hancock sisters were finally liberated. This tragic experience became the lifelong shame and trauma of Hancock's life. With the help of Shaki, Rayleigh, and Elder Nyan, Hancock brought her sisters back to Amazon Lily in the Calm Belt. 2 years later, the 18-year-old Hancock became the Empress of Amazon Lily and the captain of the Kuja Pirates. From then on, she became the true Pirate Empress. Under her rule, the residents of the island lived in peace and prosperity. With just a single expedition, Hancock became a world-renowned pirate, simultaneously catching the attention of the world government. Behind her brilliant glory, there is always a hidden history. Many people dislike Hancock's personality, finding her arrogant, overbearing, and narcissistic to an almost pathological degree. If small animals get in her way on the road, she kicks them away without a word. When children gift her a hand-carved statue, she destroys it instantly. Even when Elder Nyan tries to advise her, she ends up being thrown out of the window. Looking at it this way, it seems that besides being a beauty, she isn't likable at all. But as sages teach us, we must look past the surface to see the essence. In my view, all of the Empress's behaviors are actually a way for her to protect herself, her sisters, and the people of Amazon Lily. She encases herself in a shell, arming herself with a dominant exterior. She uses every resource available, her figure, beauty, and devil fruit, as tools to ensure she is never hurt again. From this perspective, she is actually someone who is tough on the outside, but soft on the inside. Her unyielding character doesn't allow her to show a single trace of vulnerability to anyone, even if that person is Luffy. Speaking of which, we must talk about the Empress's peculiar love for Luffy. The first meeting between Luffy and the Empress was quite revealing. I reckon if Sanji had been there, he would have died on the spot from pure happiness. But as fate would have it, Luffy has zero interest in beauties. It's as if Oda simply forgot to give him those genes. Here, the crucial point was for him to see the mark on the Empress's back, the hoof of the Soaring Dragon, left by the Celestial Dragons. According to the rumors spread by the Hancock sisters, anyone who sees that mark would be turned to stone. Precisely because this is a shame they won't show the world, she sets up a perimeter every time she bathes, with heavy guards protecting the palace, forbidding anyone from entering.
Little did she know that a runaway Luffy would fall from the sky, crashing into the bath, seeing her clearly from top to bottom, inside and out. Terrified that he had seen and recognized that inferior mark,
Hancock immediately tried to petrify him with Mero Mellow, but Luffy was completely unfazed by her naked body, rendering her fruit ability useless. That someone in this world could be totally indifferent to her beauty was naturally a massive blow to her. But Luffy never judges people by their appearance. Beauty or ugliness to him is not a standard for judging whether someone is a good person. Unable to accept that Luffy wouldn't fall for her, the Empress, in her humiliation and rage, ordered his execution. Margaret, Aphalandra, and Sweet Pea, who pleaded for his life, were petrified on the spot. Hancock's two sisters then prepared for the fight in the arena. Luffy faced two opponents at once, nearly falling into the spike pit in the process. Just as Sandersonia was about to shatter the petrified Margaret, an enraged Luffy unintentionally unleashed his Conqueror's Haki. Unaware of his power, he had no restraint, knocking out many of the onlookers. This shocked everyone present. This man actually possessed the same Conqueror's Haki as the Empress. Later in the battle, Sandersonia's clothes were burned by Marigold's flames, exposing the mark on her back. To prevent their secret from being discovered, Luffy jumped onto her back, using his own body to hide that mark of shame. This single act shook Hancock to her core, but still not fully trusting Luffy's character, she gave him one final soul-searching test. Choose between saving Margaret and her friends or leaving the island. Luffy chose to save them without a moment's hesitation, dropping to his knees to sincerely thank her. This choice between saving lives or choosing freedom, I think it wasn't just Hancock testing Luffy, it was her wrestling with herself. She wanted Luffy to show the typical nature of men, wanting to confirm the selfishness she believed all men had, yet she couldn't help being moved. Hancock, who had the deepest prejudice against men, never imagined someone with such a pure heart existed. Luffy's broad-mindedness successfully shattered the cold-blooded facade she had built and found its way into her heart. Some think the Empress has a masochistic streak, because the more Luffy disregarded her beauty, the more she wanted to conquer him. But I believe it's because she felt that Luffy didn't look down on them for being former slaves. Instead, he respected and protected their dignity. Thus, Hancock decided to have a real talk with Luffy. Upon learning that at Sabayori Archipelago, Luffy had fearlessly punched a celestial dragon, and seeing that he truly loathed those ugly nobles, she opened her heart for the first time, sharing her past with Luffy, and bravely showed her affection. It was here that Luffy learned of Ace's impending execution. Determined to go to Impel Down to rescue Ace, Hancock used her status as one of the Shichibukai to help him. In fact, on her way back to the island, the Marines had sent a warship to deliver a summons. Not only did she flatly refuse, she even petrified the soldiers on the ship, except for Vice Admiral Momonga, who stabbed his own hand to resist the Mero Mellow. Regardless, she agreed to the summons to Marineford under one condition. She would go, but first she must see Fire Fist Ace and Impel Down. And so, Luffy hid under Hancock's cloak and successfully entered Impel Down. But when she was required to remove her cloak for a search, she could only take Luffy that far. The straightforward Luffy thanked Hancock for such a huge favor, but the love-struck Hancock began to hallucinate, believing that Luffy was proposing to her. Later, even when Luffy just called her by name normally, she thought it was a proposal. How should I put it? The Luffy in Hancock's fantasies looks like he's following the script of a romance anime. Beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. Those love filters of hers are something else. Then, Hancock was escorted by Hannibal and Sea Prism stone cuffs all the way to level 6, delivering the news to Ace that Luffy had arrived. During the Summit War, the Empress stood symbolically with the Marines, but while Luffy was rushing toward Ace, she helped him by taking out anyone in his way. A perfume femur here, a slave arrow there. She didn't care about the Marines or other pirates, because at that moment, she only cared about Luffy. Love is blind, after all. When Smoker tried to stop Luffy, she stepped in twice to fight him off, breaking Smoker's jitte with a perfume femur. Even the pacifista units modeled after Bartholomew Kumar were all petrified and defeated by her. After a heavily injured Luffy retreated, she allowed Law to sail his ship to Amazon Lily to treat Luffy's wounds. Knowing how heartbroken Luffy would be over Ace's death, she felt his pain as if it were her own. Although Rayleigh forbade her from seeing Luffy too often and didn't allow her to help him with food, insisting that Luffy train in a harsh environment, despite that, I bet Hancock often snuck over to watch him train. 2 years later, when Luffy had to go to Sabayoti to reunite with his crew, Hancock wished she could pack her entire palace for him to take along. She prepared massive amounts of food and years' worth of daily necessities. To help him avoid unwanted attention, she gave him a disguise, escorted him to sea, and blocked the pursuing marine warships so the Straw Hat Pirates could set sail smoothly. Hancock has wanted to marry Luffy more times than we can count, but she has been flatly rejected every time. Even so, her unrequited love remains persistent. The Empress, who looks down on everyone, turns into an innocent maiden eager for marriage when it comes to love. This older sister, who believes love is a hurricane, is honestly hard to hate. She wins over fans in an instant. The Empress doesn't actually appear that often in the series. She debuted in manga chapter 516 and first appeared in anime episode 410. Aside from her first meeting with Luffy on Amazon Lily, she mostly plays a supporting role. When Oda was designing and creating the character of the Empress, he used the snake-haired Medusa from Greek mythology as a prototype. It's said he burned quite a few brain cells on her. He mentioned it many times in interviews and even wrote a special note about it. The reason was, he didn't know how to represent the face of the most beautiful woman in the world. After countless designs and deliberations, we finally got the Empress we see today. This shows how important this character is in Oda's mind. And she's certainly more than just a background beauty. In fact, Amazon Lily has played a crucial connecting role many times. During the Summit War Saga, Luffy's route, starting point, and destination were all here. The reason he could remain hidden for 2 years was because Amazon Lily was secluded and safe enough.